Hello devs. So from the previous tutorial, we built this project and we were able to deploy it to production, and we were able to test if everything was working okay. Let me just confirm the endpoint. I have to rebuild this. So I have to rebuild the application so that we get the latest code. So just wait for it to recreate. If now we try to test, should be able to work. Yeah, so this is what we are deployed initially on our backend, and we are running on port 3000. So if we go back to this, we copy this IP, then paste it here, you can see we get nothing. But if we go to a specific port 3000, we can see we get a message and we can run the test, which now brings us the details of every other thing that the endpoints that are available for the backend. So today we're going to be building the front end. There are a couple of ways that personally I won't say I have done so much with it, but we'll try to do research on how we'll build the front end so that whatever we have on this end, a better part of it will copy to the front end side, then adjust few things here and there to be able to fit in with the front end the way it's supposed to be running. So we can just drop the application using Docker Compose down. Then this one will stop the container. Once the container is stopped, if we test now, you'll see it's not available. So that is it for the backend code. We can just reopen we have front end SAS. Then now we can majorly focus on our front end. In the meantime, I'll just update my app, my system, while everything else is running. So what's here is for the front end to run, we'll need to expose what usually happens. We'll first install, we'll just do the normal way of installation of things, the dependencies for JavaScript. Once everything is installed, then we can test with npm run dev. Then you can see it's running. This is Vitap, but let's do some cleanup here so that let me just look for tailwind landing pages. So let's look for something that you can use for landing page. Download. Okay. free. How do I get a free? So how do I get a free version of this? Just clear off and so let me try Tailwind blocks. Tail blocks. So I just need a simple landing page with a few action. Let's see. Something more. There's a footer. Okay. So we have a header. Okay, view code. Copy this. Bring it to our app. Paste. Then everything named class will refactor to class name so that they match. We close the image, then format. Meanwhile, we remove everything else that is not used, including this. We can remove this. Then -d tailwind. So we install Tailwind, then confirm that everything is working. Meanwhile, we can generate Tailwind config, npx Tailwind css fnp. This one will create with the post css. So here, what we'll just add is to .src, then star .html js jsx ts tsx. Then we can just close that, confirm if it's installed, restart our server, then get back here, fresh, inspect what we have here. Apparently we haven't added Tailwind, so at Tailwind base, at Tailwind components, at Tailwind utilities, at Tailwind variants. So with this, it should be able to load up. So we already have Tailwind here set up. So that means our application is up and running. So we can just have several blocks. We can have a nav. Where was the nav? We have this nav view code. We have the header in the app. Paste it there. Then this one will be a bit tricky, so save format, come back here, Then we have this home page. Then we can add a simple call to action. So let's add something of this kind. Just for the sake, paste there. Then you can convert these classes to class name format. So this will be HTML for then we should self close this input. This one, I'm not sure. Let's just omit that and console. Interesting. iframe. Type string a property with property string number. Let's just let's convert this to HTML to JSX. Cancel. So we'll take this, so we copy that, then paste it here. Should be able to, yeah, should work. Stroke line join. Why is that? Interesting. But apparently things have loaded, so I don't think there's any other thing we need. I think with this it's okay for a simple landing page, so we'll keep it that simple. So we'll update here, add landing page, commit, then sync up. So we need a Docker file. So with the Docker file, I will need to get an image from just the same way we got one from this other end is the same way we'll get. So node 20.10.18 0 0 Alpine as this will be our build stage. Then from there we'll working directory, which will be app. So we need to copy source will be package.json. So step one, we copy the package.json to the selected working directory. Then we run npm install npm I. After installing, and you can copy dot to dot. We copy everything now from the current folder to where we are. Then we can run npm run build. After that, once we built, I don't think if we'll need to run this with Node.js. We could run it with serve. I'll just demonstrate npm I-d serve. We could run it with serve. So once serve is installed, let me just showcase how serve will work. Serve something like live. Then we can npm npx serve fns. Then our folder we npm run build. So once we build the app, we'll have the .dist. So we'll serve the dist folder. So if we run npm run live, so serve should be able to serve everything via this port. So we can go that approach or choose to not use the serve. But for simplicity purposes, I think we can go with the serve because for some reason we can choose to use what we so-called Nginx. We can serve this using Nginx. So that means we first have to build this application. Once we've built it, then I will need to configure Nginx to be able to serve whatever we have. So I'll just try look up React build and serve with Nginx. and Docker. So if we open this, you can see install, you copy, we build, then from Nginx. That is how simple it is. But there is, I think, it's this simple. So with us, where we have reached, we've run the build. So after building, now we need to step 2, which is set up Nginx. So from Nginx, then we can call Alpine just as listed there. Then we copy from our build, okay, to our destination. So we copy from build the source and the destination. So copy from build, we are copying everything from app, we are copying from app to, because this is dist, app dist, then from app dist to Nginx, user share Nginx /html. Then once that is done, we'll need to expose port 80 because Nginx will be running on port 80. So expose port 80, that will be within the container itself. Then now exposing it to the outside, we'll need to expose it using we can use whichever port we wish. So then start Nginx, start the Nginx. So I'll just copy this command, paste it here, then this one to below here, then copy the build React, so we'll stop that. Then let's test. Okay, with this, let's set a docker ignore. This should be relatively the same as the one we had here. Paste. Then so we need to build. So docker build -p. So this will be SAS frontend. Let's have it as latest, but we reference dot where the Docker file is located. So let's wait for it to build. It's taking quite some time, so npm I let's wait a bit. I'm not sure why this is taking long. Yep, it's okay. So it's building. So everything is built. Now we're getting the Nginx. We pulled Nginx. So because we've built the application, so we need to run docker run. So let's docker images. So SAS frontend is this, just to list all the images available. So our frontend is around 47.2 MB. So we can docker run. We'll use the same way we ran it yesterday, paste that ID. But for this, we'll need to go to port 80 for the front end. Then we can expose it on port, let's do 4200. Then we can docker run. So let's see if port 4200 is available. Localhost 4200. Yeah, and you can see our build is successful and it's running well. So I try to go to hello. So you can see Nginx, there's an issue with Nginx. Is trying to map everything to a file. So this means we need to set up a configuration, which if you're using React router, you can see the logs here. If you're using React router DOM, I'll find that when we have these routes for non-existing URLs or configured endpoint, it should be able to serve all the requests. But Nginx currently what it's doing, it's trying to look for hello.html, which is not currently available. So we'll need to look for a way of setting up Nginx. So serving React with Nginx, reroute all traffic to the index.html in Docker. So let's check on this. So in this step, we'll create a Docker image for your React app, containerize for deployment. We'll set up Nginx to serve the, okay. We're done with this part. Then, yes, remove, okay. So from here, I think what is there is we'll need to set up an Nginx configuration, which is this server block, then location to this, root will be that, then we serve everything, try everything, and point it to the index.html. So I think I'm not going to use those complicated stuff. So we'll just go with the one which is here above. We need to create this file. So get back here. We can have Nginx, then nginx.conf, then we'll take this configuration here, paste here, let me just go with example.com. So what we need to do, because you had already set up all the other things, we only need to take this section of this code and put it in our Docker file before we expose everything else. So then we need to, so how did we start this? Docker stop, can stop it using Docker stop, no such container, Docker ps, and see the processes that are active. Let's see this one here. We need to stop this. Docker stop that process. So it stopped. Then we can just clear Then we can docker build again. Docker run. So let's see, run that. It should be this. Then try again, reload. You can see now the traffic is rerouted to our index.html. So just to test if everything is working well and correctly, what we'll do is to add a React router DOM. So after adding React router DOM, we'll try to put an index page and also set up several pages to make sure that everything is working correctly before we publish it to our production environment. So what happens here, I'll delete this, move to trash, I'll retain this, then create a folder known as router, then have an index.tsx, then import create browser router, then export const router, which will be create browser router, then we'll pass in our routes there. When we come to src again, create pages, then landing page.tsx rfc. So if you don't have this kind of autocomplete, you can come here to React, look for React in the extensions panel, then React, then you'll need to install this ES7 React Redux React Native snippets. So once you have this installed, you'll be able to get this autocomplete whichever you like. Go with RFC, which is very simple. Export that function. It is a landing page. For the landing page, we'll take everything which is here in our app, then put it in the landing page. Once it's there in the landing page, remove what is not used, come to our router, add a path which will be that, then we pass an element which will be landing page. So then we'll also have not found 404.tsx rfc. We have a not found page. So in here we can have h1 and say the page you are looking for is not available. So I'll just keep it that simple, then remove what is not used, come to the router, duplicate this, then have it as star, then have not found page. Let's also have about. RFC about so then we can have about page. So once that is done, we can come here and import route provider. This is now the entry point of our application. Then we can just pass our router to be the router we have just configured from the other end. So if we come back here to 4200 won't work at the moment because it's running in the Docker container. So we'll need to run npm run dev, then locate this. So if I refresh, reset, something interesting is happening here. Inspect sources. Presume we have Tailwind, but oh, okay. So let's see. Tailwind CSS React. So with Create React app, this is what need the content section. So in the content section of our Tailwind, I think I'll just put this, whether they're the same or not. Then F2, in our .gtignore can add .star, F2, copy everything, escape to Ctrl A, Ctrl C. Whatever is built, we don't need that. We also don't need this. Save so that they're not tracked. So next is something is off a bit. Let me just rerun this and see. Yeah, so you can see we have so if we go to about, we should be able to see about page here. Then if we go back, should be able to see that other one. So this is working well and the router is working correctly. So if we try to navigate to somewhere, okay, I stopped the server. So if I try to go to somewhere, it will tell me the page you're looking for is not available. So let me just add a home button here, not found. We can have a link which will take you back to home page. Go back home. So this will take you back home. If I click here, it should take me back to this page here. I think that is okay. So from this point, now everything is well set up in terms of React, and based on the way we need to build our Docker image. So what is left is to add the Docker compose file. Then now everything else will be in place. So for the Docker compose file, it won't be that complicated. I just need to copy this, then add a docker compose.yml, then paste it here. But for this, I'll take port 80, then I will expose port, let me have it as 8080. That is if we build. So we'll call this frontend SAS frontend. For now, we've kept everything else simple enough. So what we'll need to do, okay, just something to explain here. The reason why, for better part of, if you look at some of the build stages for Docker, which some other developers do, you'll see we are trying to change permission for the current user. So that usually happens when you are using the root account. So when you're using the root account, you need to have a user, then you change from root to that user. Then now whatever files you'll be manipulating, you need to have access to them or access on them, so that you're able to update, create some, or even manipulate whatever is there. But with us, this is not on the root level. So the default user has sudo capabilities, but not directly. So that means they are able to manipulate or work on the files directly which are in their home folder or their access home. So if you'll try to, if you'll see, you'll see some, we run a command like chown, I don't know, something node something node, so something group user. So if you come across that, just know that that is based on access control, based on the files that you're having in your server. So aside from that, we've already set up the Nginx. So Nginx will now be serving our application. So what we need to just confirm is to, we stop this, we need to kill this process, docker ps. So we list all the running processes, then we locate, so we ps-a, then we grab SAS, let's grab SAS. I don't think if, so it's okay. This is it's on this, so let's copy this, docker stop that service. So once that is stopped, it should be able to exit from this end. Yeah, so it's already stopped. So then we can just run docker compose up. Then we build just the normal way we are building. In this, I have done very little based on whatever stages we are having. So, but I feel we can have even 3 stages. So we have the build, this one which will now be checking the code. Then now we'll have the Nginx. but for now let's just keep it as is. If we need to run any optimizations, we'll do it later, but not at the moment. For now, it's just make sure that everything is running correctly as required and in the most optimal way. I won't be setting up any domains, so if you'll want to set up domains in the server, you can go ahead and tunnel domains, but that is beyond the scope of this. I think we have done a lot in the last recording where we were setting up the backend, because the backend had a lot of things and it's like the initial phase of everything. But for this one, I think it will be a bit more easier. Reason being, we already set up the workflow which will now be running our front end. So let's just wait for this to build. After it has built, then now we can test it if it's working the way we expected it. Then we can proceed to deploy it in our server. So npm install is taking quite some time, so I'll need to be a bit more patient. This is why I don't usually like npm, but for the sake of this, I'll just need to use it. So it's almost done. Error, driver failed. Okay, port 8080 is already in use. Okay, let's go with the 6002, but let me see how get process on port in Linux. So kill process running on a port in Linux. So actually this is just what I need. Sudo try build again. Yeah, so it's created and it should be running. So if we go to localhost port 80 we should be able to see it's working, and if we navigate back to the home page, you should be able to see this. So this tells you that our Docker image is running well, and everything else that we are having here should be able to, let's try ge about should be working. So it's working the correct way. So what's left out of this is just setting up the GitHub workflow, of which that one I'll just need to copy. I'll just copy that folder over .github, copy it over here, copy folder. So once I've copied it over, I'll go to the deploy, then I'll switch this to GitHub workflow. Yeah. So what will change here will change from SaaS backend to SaaS frontend. Okay. Then everything else will remain the same. Something will need to setup, I'll just use whatever we had yesterday as the SSH. But if you wish, if you so wish, you can have your cd test. You can have if you so wish, you can set up new SSH keys for this, but with me, I'll go with whatever we had yesterday. So I won't need to create another one because these are just for test purposes. I don't have anything sensitive in this application, so there's no much need for, let's say, securing the server and whatnot. So we'll just reuse whatever we had yesterday. That's why I've just copied it here. So what I'll do, in here we have push, so on PR we can run them based on PR or given status, label. We'll just keep it as push. So if you push to this branch, I haven't specified the branch, but I can specify the branch which this is supposed to run on. Those are a bit ahead, but let's just work this out so that we deploy it to the server. So what we'll do, I'll open up my terminal, clear this, then we can cut, we can ls cut. We need this public key we had already set up, so we need the private key. So this private key is what we'll need to set up in our GitHub. Go back to our organization, then from our organization go to repositories, go to Frontend SaaS. The Frontend SaaS, go to settings, then secrets and variables, go to actions, new repository secret, this is what we need, private key, paste it here, then copy, paste, add a new one, then remote host, that one will be our IP, copy the IPv4, then paste it here, add a new one, remote user will be Orinda, add secret, add new, we have host port which will be 22, add that, new, then we have remote target. So in the remote target, I'll just open up a new terminal, SSH into digital venture, su-orinda, login as Orinda, then we can list cd apps ls, so pwd, copy this, then this is the target folder, With that, everything should be set, and this is SaaS backend, so I can just close it off. Go back to the front end. Then we can let me just do some commits here. Add Nginx config, then for the Docker details, Docker build steps, commit. Then from here we can just add update project pages. So then we can just sync this up. Once it's up, so once that is up, we can go to the actions tab on the repository, click here. You should be able to see it's already building. So let's just watch as everything else is taking course. Install dependencies, build. So copy files to server. Once they are copied, if we list here, ls, you can see we already have the SaaS frontend here. So the Docker image is building. So it's fairly simple, not that hard as you may have maybe presumed. So let's wait for npm install is the one stage that takes a longer time to run, probably some minutes. It's done. Now it's building. Yep, and we should be up. So what port did we select for this? Docker compose 8080. So if I navigate to that, let's go to port 8080 in the remote, we should be able to see this page. So that tells you that our deployment is successful in the droplet. So if we go to /about, it should take us to about. So let's try to have something on the about page so that it doesn't look the way it wants to look. Let's just view this code, take it to the about, come back here to the pages, about, paste, swap the class with class name, then image should be auto closing. What else? So if I just update about page commit, then sync up. After the code is pushed, we should have another action already running. So we'll build, then after building, install the dependencies, then we copy the files to the server. After copying files to the server, we'll need to build the Docker image. After building the Docker image, then now we need to run the image. So that's successful. So better part of every other thing is cached. So we'll just go to the build stage straight after copying the files, because Nginx was already available, and this should be recreated. If now I refresh this about page, let's see. It's local. Yeah, we should be able to have this. So that's how easy it is to set up the deployment for the front end. So it has not been that easy, but I think you've learned a thing or two with this kind of deployment. It's not so straightforward, but I'll make sure this code is available for use, so that if you feel like you need to deploy with this approach, it's available. I'll try convert them to take them off what do you call it, this organization, and change ownership to my repositories, so that they're easy to access rather than going direct to the organization. So once that is done, I'll update the links in the video description. So if you like such kind of contents, please like and subscribe, so that I'll be able to continue publishing more of such. The next part, I'll check through to see what I can build based on what we already have, so that if in case you have any suggestions, you can put them in the comment section, so that I can look them up and see if we can build something based on this. I can just say it's been nice working on this. I've also learned a thing or two. Not that I am all knowing on this, but it's fairly easy and simple to see how the resources are available for use in case you want to build something on the web. So thank you, and let's meet in the next one.